America, and welcome to Invent America, because America invents.
This episode of Invent America TV is brought to you by America's Inventor Lady and Home Talk USA. Home Talk is a proud member of the King's Broadcasting Network and has been bringing to you the best of America's home-based product innovation since 1998. This segment of Invent America TV is brought to you by the law offices of R.P. Baraska. RPB law offices have been bringing corporate-level legal expertise to the independent inventor community for more than 20 years. For all your inventing legal needs, trust rpblawoffices.com.
Welcome, America. That's right. This is the King's Broadcasting Network, and you are now tuning in to the Invent America show with the inventor lady herself, with myself, the Canadian contractor Michael King, with inventor lady Rita Crompton. We want to welcome all of our Home Talk USA radio audience that's carrying over to the Invent America show. I'm often asked, KJ, man, can you explain Home Talk, Invent America, Made in America? Guys, it's just one show. But what we've done, and we find it more effective since we cover all these issues, is when we talk at Home Talk, we're talking to the manufacturers, we're talking to the products, the technologies. But when we cover all the Invent America issues or how to get your product to market, we were scheduling all over the clock here, all over the spectrum. So we wanted to focus specifically on that. And it's been a real successful venue, just like the Made in America. So that's basically right, Rita. We'd like to welcome her now. But Rita, we're trying to make it focus and narrow into one subject matter, that way we can focus on that one subject matter. And that's the reason why we broke off one big show with three little small umbrellas. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And it's so wonderful the way they overlap and work together. We've enjoyed watching it evolve over the years. And, because so many of the shows that you were doing, they started with an inventor solving a problem.
Yeah.
Well, how did that inventor get there? And then, on the ones that had products and they were made in America, well, let's share that story, because every inventor's got a story. So, it's really been interesting the way things have evolved, and yet how they fit together so well. And, it's exciting to let the American consumer know how challenging it is and what the inventor has to go through. But for a lot of folks out there, it's like, the fantasy is, being able to come up with an invention someday. Well, this is what you have to do. This is what you go through, and, avoid these mistakes and, focus on this. So it's been fun telling the stories and, sharing the backdrop of all these inventions that people can find out there.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because we've been, in radio, let's face it, in radio, nobody listens to like 3 hours straight. They come in, they come out, they come in and out. But if you advertise in advance and say, this is going to be the agenda of the day, then you have more of a target audience, and that's what we're trying to do, is have a target audience to discuss that particular home need, construction need, home improvement, invent,
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
How about Christmas need? Okay, because we are entering the Christmas season, and so many of these inventors would love to be able to get you to buy their products right before the Christmas season. But it is amazing how people can get so excited when they get something. I never saw this on the market. I used to do that for my family, is that they'd get new products that were just getting into the marketplace, and they were always so excited. It was the whole show around Christmas was the new products that I was promoting and coming into the marketplace that I shared with my family. And we always had a really good time. So, heck, guys, it's a fun conversation when you give somebody something that's brand new that they didn't even know was available out there, and you say, okay, this is a cool new invention.
One of the most important things that we have to discuss, man, is managing your time. I mean, the persistence has to be there, and that's the biggest downfall that a lot of young inventors have. They have no clue about a plan and how to manage that time, right, Rita?
Oh, absolutely. And life gets in the way for all of us. I mean, a year ago, we had a hurricane coming through here, and, pull yourself up, you brush yourself off, you get back on track. And I tell inventors, it's like everybody's got time issues. That is the one thing we've never learned how to invent more of. Once the time is gone, it's gone. You can always make more money, can't make more time yet. So we look at then, how do we manage that mess called life that gets in the way? Well, you brush yourself off and you get back on track. And for a lot of inventors, they sign up to go to a trade show. I know Deb is already, she's going to be a guest. She's already signed up to go on to the show that's coming up. And it helps keep them on track because they've got a deadline. And a lot of times that deadline is like, I'm going to go to the Inventors Roundtable meeting because Rita's going to ask me, what have I done since I was there last? And I need to know that I've got to have an answer for her. Time frames, deadlines, that all helps to keep our inventors on track and moving forward. And that's what we want to do. We want to be able to offer kind of a framework of time so that, the inventors, it's like, well, I was working on this and now I found one out there that's just like it. We had some inventors that did that just in the last couple of weeks and they were so upset. It's like, because you didn't file your intellectual property, you're behind now, and they beat you. We had one that was 2 days. It was like 2 days of the filing dates on their patents, and they were just heartsick. And, it happens, but time is not your friend when it comes to inventing. It's just not.
No, it's not. And timing is everything, to be honest with you. You have different sorts of timing,
Oh, yeah.
Like I say, success occurs when opportunity meets preparation. That's just the bottom line. It goes back a long way. Opportunity must be preparation. And how many times you might have that opportunity, and we've discussed this, but you're just not prepared, or you prepared, man, you're ready to go. The timing's just not right. And then
oh, and that makes a huge difference. I mean, there's inventors who will come up with an idea, they file their intellectual property, but the technology is not there yet to make it at a price the consumer will pay. And then, 10, 15 years later, now technology catches up. Now they can finally make it at a price the consumer will pay. But now the patent is almost expired. So staying on top of things, and a lot of inventors, man, they really watch that technology and how it relates to their patent. And so they will, sometimes they keep filing stuff. Sometimes, they'll add new technology to it and new filings to what they've already filed. But boy, you've got to watch it. And I always say that managing time is persistence. You've got to say, this is important to me, and I am going to be persistent with it.
Yeah, you're right. But man, tell us a little bit about the show today. We only got about a couple of minutes left.
So, well, Carroll is going to be on, and he's one of those that he's been working on this for 10 years. So time is really an issue for him. But technology now is caught up to it. And fortunately for him, he can still, his intellectual property is fairly recent. So he's good to go on that. And Deb is out there with a new pet product. And she will be going to ASD Market Week. She's been manufacturing. So she's stayed on top of this. I've had, like I said, I was sharing the story with a couple that had done some work on something, and it just, got away from them because they weren't paying attention. And another gentleman this morning, he, was talking all about the research, and he's got his business plan. It's like, I don't want to see a business plan. I want to know, did you do a search and did you get some intellectual property filed? Because that's what we have to work with. And so we do pay attention to time. And then Don Skaggs is our industry expert. He's been working with inventors for 2 decades, like I have. He's got his own products out there. So he has watched time slip away from inventors, and he's going to have some good insights for us. And inventors are still dealing with the fact that consumer is God when it comes to pricing. And there are things, it's like when we did the flagpole a few years ago, it was going to be $175 to do that flagpole in America. All right. When we did it overseas, okay, $6.75. And okay, that was sent already boxed, packaged, and in a pallet to her driveway, as opposed to a bunch of poles falling out of a big cargo box.
Now we're going to take a short break. This is Invent America Show. This is Cajun contractor Michael King with the Inventor Lady herself, Rita Crompton. We'll be right back. Yay! I'll come back now. You hear?
This segment of Invent America TV is brought to you by SearchQuest Patent Search. SearchQuest provides for a comprehensive patent search that searches the entire world and not just the U.S. Patent Office. Make sure that before you spend those big bucks having a patent written, you've done your due diligence by getting a comprehensive patent search. Use searchquestpatents.com for all your patent search needs. They scour the world for you.
Right. So my first guest today is Carroll Stewart. Carroll invented HVAC Hero. HVAC Hero. So Carroll, tell everybody, what is HVAC Hero?
HVAC Hero is a cleaning unit that attaches to the top of the exterior HVAC systems. It's primarily to fight the enemies of an HVAC system, saltwater applications, washing the salt off the chassis on a daily basis, multiple times a day, heavy snow areas where units tend to ice up, things of that nature. De-icer could actually be mixed with it in a cleaning situation. It's primarily to lengthen the life of the chassis and the unit itself from corrosion. We had EPA looked at it approximately 18 years ago, quite a while. And they said at that time that they felt the cleaning of the unit, the way we had projected, would save the unit by 5 to 7 years of corrosion, which in turn also would be less freon escaping from surfaces and so forth to the ozone. So they felt like that if and when the product was complete and in the market, it would be a green product.
Well, would you hurry up, please? All right, so we just got done hearing the fact that you've been working on this for a while. So tell us about, you've been fighting time for years. All right, what's the story?
I invented the unit years ago for a friend of mine that had a situation at the ocean where he was tired of replacing units all the time. I tried many, many times to get different attorneys to handle things as far as getting me a patent on the product. And I ran into every brick wall imaginable because they didn't see the product. All they saw was an idea. And they classified what I had built as not an actual product. So I eventually found a company, which I'd rather not mention, that supposedly was helping me with my patent. And it took them 8 years to go through the paperwork, get everything in process. They were constantly putting the wrong drawings of the invention, and that was having to be changed back to my invention, not theirs. Their attorneys, they went through, I think, 2 attorneys before they finally got to the one that ended up completing my patent. So the last 8 to 10 years, I've been going through this process with this particular company and finally got approved beginning of last year. I got my final patent.
Well, congratulations. And, yes, it can be a long haul, but generally, at 3 years, we're figuring, long enough because that's average. 3 years is average to get a patent issued. So, the fact that you went through all of that time, I give you an A+ in persistence. And so what's the next step now? Where are you going with this? I've seen your videos. They're awesome. And I certainly get it. We don't have the issue with salt out here. We have the issue with all the, stuff falling out of the forest. So totally get what you're talking about. Just a little bit different enemy. So when you talk about, we're gonna come back to that. All right. So what are your next steps? What are you trying to get done?
What I'm trying to do now is find a manufacturer that would purchase a license to manufacture and market the unit on the open market. That's my plan.
All right. And we're going to help you find that. So what, you talked about salt. Obviously, people get that if they're living, down along the coastal areas. What are some of the other enemies? There's a lot more to this country than just, salt water. What are some of the other enemies that your application helps to protect an HVAC from?
Well, it will help to wash the unit as far as dirt, dust, and things of that nature, which are all the enemies of an outside HVAC system. One of the big things is up north where you have the heavier snows, especially in the wintertime and all. You could actually use a de-icer in the mixture when it's sprayed to de-ice the units and wash the snow off the units to where they become more efficient during the wintertime.
Excellent, excellent. So what have you done? I mean, I've seen your video, so I know you've got the functioning prototype, the proof of concept prototype. What else have you done now to start getting this out there?
I have kind of been sitting on it for quite a while. And I had a young gentleman call me about 3 months ago. I believe you know the gentleman. And matter of fact, he introduced us.
Yes.
And he seemed very excited about the unit. His words were, I didn't understand what I had and how much need there was for it because it can be used for commercial and residential possibilities. So, there's a lot there. It's just not knowing which way to turn on the next move to get it to market.
So, well, you took the next step that I suggested, which was the functioning prototype. And like I said, it is, it looks really, really good. You're a step beyond the duct tape and cardboard version of that. And I appreciate that because it's amazing how often I see the duct tape and cardboard version that is the first prototype. So you were really, really good about that and very professional. The unit looks very professional. So it will be easy to show, easy to demonstrate. And that's a good thing.
Well, I appreciate that, Rita. I really do. And, it's a situation where this unit, the good thing of this unit is the way I have perfected it myself is most of the parts, as far as any type of repairs down the line, like a clog, spray head or something, can be bought locally. So it makes it very easy for the homeowner to, take care of a small situation. Oh, it's a situation to where the cleaning fluids and antifreeze fluids that are used in it are very simple. That can be bought locally as well. And this unit can actually be operated in 2 or 3 different ways. It could be hooked directly to a garden hose and a timer to where you time it, 2 or 3 times a day for a certain amount of time for spraying the unit and cleaning it.
Excellent.
Depending
So,
on the application needed at the time. I also
well, Carroll, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we are running out of time for this segment, and we've got to go pay some bills, everybody. So, stick with us. We will be right back with another inventor and another product, and different timing types of issues. But as Carroll progresses through this process, we will let everybody know, and when his product is on the market, we will let you know that as well. So, stick with us, everybody. We will be right back.
If you're an inventor or you know an inventor out there who would just like to be able to have a conversation with other inventors, join the Inventors Roundtable. It's free. The meetings are virtual, so you can be anywhere in America and talk to another inventor. And for a lot of folks out there, understanding the process, being able to ask questions, getting good service provider information is critical to the inventing process. So, got questions? Want to join? It's free. inventorsroundtable.org.
When you know an inventor, you are an inventor, you've got a neighbor who's an inventor, got a new product, and you want to go and show off and how do we sell this product? Join us at ASD Market Week. It is the biggest show in America for consumer products. It is business to business, and the buyers are there to buy product. Deb is going with us to this show in March. Deb Wiedenhoff, and she has got a new pet product. It is the Pet Levator. And Deb, thanks for being with us today. Tell everybody, what did you invent and why?
Okay, well, Rita, thanks for having me on. The Pet Levator solves the dilemma of having a small pet on your lap, on your keyboard, and in your face while you're trying to work. And if, for example, every little kitten that I have ever seen wants to climb all over you. They climb up your leg, they climb up your arm, they get on your shoulders. But to balance a little critter on your shoulders, you're going to be hunched over. You're going to expose your neck, back, and shoulders to scratches. So the Pet Levator solves this problem. It allows you to stand up straight or sit up straight, and it also allows your hands to remain free so you continue to work either on your computer or in the kitchen. It more than doubles the shoulder space available for your little critter, And that allows for the stability, comfort, and safety of that little guy. You know, pets like being up close to their people and they like snuggling around their people. And I've even had one cat that learned how to use the Pet Levator by watching the other cat. And then some of my customers have even said they want their cat to become a shoulder cat. They wanted to train their cat to be a shoulder cat, and they have successfully done that. So there's a lot of uses for the Pet Levator.
Well,
Currently,
I've seen people that have had, a parrot on their shoulder, and that can get yucky. How much better would it be if they had Pet Levator and so they could wash the covering? I have seen people that have had little dogs. I mean, we don't think necessarily about dogs, but yeah, some of those little ones, they're up close and personal, and now they can just, relax and love on you.
right, exactly. You could use it for guinea pigs, bunnies, iguanas, lizards, any small little animal. I did give a Pet Levator to a neighbor, and they have a small dog that likes to get on their shoulders. So the Pet Levator is used for any little critter that likes to snuggle around their owners.
Absolutely.
I have 3 patents, one design patent that expires in 2036 and 2 utility patents that expire in 2037. So that gives you a big picture overview of the Pet Levator.
All right, well, that brings us then to time. All right, how long have you been working on the product, and how has time hurt you or helped you?
So it was Thanksgiving Day 2016 when I developed the first successful working prototype. I had found Bronco the cat that same year. Earlier in that year, he was rescued as a feral. And the first time I picked him up, he made his way up to my shoulders. And every time thereafter, to this day, when I pick him up, he climbs up on my shoulders.
That's so sweet. I think that some animals have more instinct to do that than others, but wonderful that, he was your inspiration.
Yes, yes, he was feral, pretty wild. You know, it took me 5 months before I could even touch him. And once I could pet him, I wanted to train him to be a house cat. And to do that, I had to pick him up. I thought if he ever got out of the house, I need to be able to pick him up, get him back in. And that's when I realized he was a shoulder cat. And once a shoulder cat, always a shoulder cat. So I got patent pending in April of 2017. I established LLC in 2019, and the business gradually grew since then. Back then, though, I was working full time as an engineer, and the Pet Levator was really more of a hobby. It was always intended to be a business, but I did have limited time. In 2020, I was getting too many customers on social media, so I had to close down Facebook and Etsy as well. I did keep my website open, and to this day, that's the only place that the Pet Levator is available is on my website. So that's my whole marketing plan.
What's your goal? What are you trying to accomplish?
Okay, so my ultimate goal is to, even though I love providing this Pet Levator to my customers, I've had over 335 customers. I've shipped to 11 countries. So I've had a successful test market at this point, and I've finalized and stabilized the design. So I'm pretty confident I've got a good product here that people need. But I do need help with manufacturing and marketing. I would like to find a licensee. I've got other inventions that I want to move on to. Gen Zs and millennials, they're having fur babies instead of human babies. So there is a big need for pet products, and every little kitten that climbs all over you deserves a Pet Levator, and that's a lot of kitty cash. So elevate your pet with the Pet Levator brand Pet Perch.
There you go. And do you still have some inventory that people can go and purchase?
Yes, I do. I expect in the months of November and December to double all the sales that I've had the year so far. At least that's what happened last year. So yes, I'm ready for the Christmas season.
Well, and I was just going to say, and it's Christmas season out there, everybody. So if you know somebody with a kitty cat that likes to climb up and lay around their neck, help them out by getting the Pet Levator. And, Deb, give us your website so people know where to go to find you.
Yes, it's shouldercatsr, the letter R, us.com.
And we will have links on our website so that you can go and find her more easily. And like I said, she is going to be going to ASD Market Week with us, see if we can find a licensee out there. And so that product is going to be on our websites, all of them. And, you know, everybody, you know, an inventor out there that should be going to sell their product, have them get in touch now. We are changing out all the logos so that we can advertise the new products going with us. And Stephanie Beringhala, our VP of Buyer Relations, she will take Deb's product out to any of the pet buyers that will be there and do early marketing for us. And we are always grateful for that. But you know, the time before the show is just as important as the time at the show. Because we do get a lot of buyers that want to go and look. They want the new products. They want to be able to see this product that Deb has got that, you know, nobody really knew. You know, she had 350 sales. Now she wants 35,000. So we want to be able to get the products out there for all of our inventors. So you know somebody out there that is really struggling with the product. You know somebody out there that has got, you know, product in their garage and needs to sell it, have them get in touch. Deb, as we get ready to kind of wind this down, do you have any parting advice for an inventor?
Yes, I would say, you know, in relation to how has time hurt, when you first go patent pending, and if you plan on seeking a license agreement, I would start on that right away, because you don't know if you're going to be granted a patent or not. You know, had I known I was going to be granted 3 patents back in 2017, I would have started on this process much sooner. So 8 years have passed, and that hurts a little, because that's lost opportunity. Although on the flip side, from here going forward, there's 12 years remaining. So there's plenty of time to mass manufacture and mass market.
Well, there is. And like you said, you've got other things that you're working on. And we always talk about making sure that we keep product, you know, new. And, you know, if there's new technology that's coming in with the manufacturing, to pay attention to that. So we do, you know, stay on top of things because we have to. You know, when we're trying to get a new product out there, all of the successful products that have been in the marketplace for decades, holy cow, you know what? They've got, you know, multiple patents on them and multiple changes to all kinds of things, from packaging and names and taglines and, oh, we just added this new feature. So anyway, Deb, thanks so much for being with us today. We are grateful. We're looking forward to showing you off. I wish you could bring a couple of kittens with you, but I don't think they will allow those in the hall. But you know what? Bring a stuffed kitten and put it on that perch. Everybody will understand. All right.
Yes.
Everybody stick with us. We are going to be back in just a couple of minutes with our industry expert, Dawn Skaggs.
Hi, this is a training pull-up for little boys, and it's a great product to use. It makes it easy for the parent and the child when learning how to potty train. The coolest part about the product is that you don't have to take the child's pants all the way down every time that they need to use the restroom. You can just open this part here, and the child can tinkle through here, and it makes it easy for the parent and the child. It's a great product, and I cannot wait until it hits the market.
Thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America, because America invents. We have been doing it forever, and we will continue to solve the problems for the American consumer. This segment is brought to you by Product Quick Start and Noah McNeely. We are so grateful that he does a lot of that manufacturing on products that we take to ASD Market Week. And I sent him a couple of folks this morning that have got new products and new ideas and need somebody feet on the ground here in America to help get those manufacturers' prototypes done. So Noah, thanks so much for being out there. My industry expert right now is Mr. Don Skaggs. He is an inventor himself, runs the Kentucky group, and helps a lot of inventors get their products from mind to market. And Don, thanks so much for being with us today. We are grateful to have you.
Well, Rita, thanks so much for the opportunity to get to talk to everybody out there in America.
Well, you know, when we're talking to inventors that are dealing with time, all right, and we still haven't been able to figure out how to invent more time. You know, they say it's out there, but
we're working on it.
Yeah, I know. We've got a lot of people thinking, oh my God, I'm out of time. So, it was like get up and I'm older. It's like I want that last 5 years back. No, I'll take 20. If I'm going for it, let's get 20. And so
Well, yeah.
what's the craziest story you've heard of about inventors dealing with time?
Oh, where do I even begin? Probably one of the real big standouts was the guy, and actually this was an associate of mine in the entrepreneur space, and she had an next door neighbor. She had no idea he was even an inventor, but he had an invention that he was working on in his garage for 10 solid years. He was
Wow.
trying to perfect it, and it's like, oh, it's just not perfect yet. It's not. And he would just take that time, and it just, yeah, 10 years, and the technology and the world passed him by, and all the opportunities along with it. But we teach our inventors. We tell them. We say, at kyinventors.org, we teach them. We say, you treat your invention, your product, your startup. You treat it just like you make an appointment with it. You make an appointment just like it's an appointment with a doctor or an attorney. You say to yourself, you write down on paper, on purpose, you make a promise to yourself that, all right, on Wednesday night between 6 and 9 p.m., I'm putting down the remote, I'm putting down the cell phone, I'm getting up, and I'm going out to my attic, my garage, my basement, and I am working on my invention. I am working on my product. I am working on my startup. But a lot of times people have a hard time committing to do that, and it just takes discipline.
Yeah, exactly. And I tell them the same thing. It's like you put it on your calendar every week. Which
Yep,
day are you going to work on it? How long are you going to do this? What are you going to work at? It's like it's one thing you say, well, I'm going to work on my invention, and then they go sit down and they have no idea what they're doing.
right.
And stuff. It's like, no, no, no. These are the things that you do. And whether it's going out and doing some research, but I get people they'll spend years doing research. It's like,
Yes.
you go out and you look for it, you don't find it, you get your provisional patent filed, you go out, you do a prototype, and then you have somebody start taking a look at it. And I used to have a gentleman when we lived in Denver that would actually go with the inventor. We would sit down, would have coffee, and he'd say, okay, I see this one on the top shelf at Lowe's. I've seen this one online here. Go look for it here. It's like, no, no, this is a good one. This is what you want to work on. And, that inventor, he still gets views and stuff. And that's been
Yeah.
10, 12 years ago
Yeah,
on this
we
new
we call
product.
it getting trapped in the town of Tinkerville. So, it's population one, and you're trapped, and you can't. It's like a Twilight Zone episode almost. You're trapped in this little town, and you can't get out because you're tinkering and tinkering and tinkering.
Yeah. And for some folks, okay, you're a tinkerer, and that's where you relieve stress. I had a guy in
Yeah.
northern Colorado, and he just made them in his basement. He got
Hmm.
a trademark on the product. He goes, I'm just making them and selling them because they're a ton of fun and my de-stressor. And
Yes.
okay, that's terrific. And he goes, if somebody knocks it off because it's a fun idea, yay, go me, I'm happy to help. And then I move on to my next tinker because
And
that was his de-stressor. But then you get somebody else, it's like, no, no, I want to buy an island.
yeah, right, exactly. And that's where the problem occurs, is if you want to be, and I'm thinking of one of our folks we worked with, and that would show up at every one of our workshops with a new item, a new invention. And he actually built one, and it was really cool, and it really did stuff. But he was a tinkerer. He was having the time of his life. And if his name was George, and if you wanted to be like George, that's no problem. But if you expect an exchange of money for your idea, that's called doing business. And you have to do the hard things, the things that are outside of your comfort zone, in order to do those business things and actually get to that exchange of money.
You really do. And so, you got to stay on track. There's certain steps you've got to take. And then there's a time when you call in, then help. All right,
Yes.
help me now. I need to know what to do. And I had a guy the other day say, well, I'm not going to send you my business plan. It's like, I don't want to see your business plan. You don't have a business yet. You haven't even filed a patent. There's no business plan. So it's like, steps in the right order. It's not that a
Yep.
business plan wouldn't be necessary at some point, but not now. You are in fantasy land. And so, reality check is, did you do a search yet? Oh, no, I haven't done that yet. I wrote a business plan. Ugh. So we do help try to keep inventors on the right track. if they get to the point where they don't want to tinker anymore and, live in a fairy tale, they actually want to be able to sell the product, get it out there into the marketplace, and have buyers.
Exactly.
So anyway,
Exactly.
that's, that's part of the fun when we get to talk to them. And then sometimes they're so serious,
Oh, I know.
and stuff about the fact that, oh, my grandson invented these. Oh, very cool. Did you file a patent on it? No, but it was his idea and they took it. It's like, I'm really not sure that one's going to qualify, that, because you still can't see inside his head. And smart grandson, but, that's kind of the way it goes. Don, thanks so much for being with us today. I know that we will have you back on because you work so much with inventors, and it's so much fun to visit with you. Everyone, if you know an inventor, if you are an inventor, you want to be an inventor, all right, get in touch with one of us because we're going to help keep you on track. We're going to answer your questions, and we're going to help you not make the big mistakes. And Don, I'm going to have you back on in a couple of weeks because we're talking about big mistakes, and there are a ton of them out there. So thanks everyone for joining us today. We will be back next week with more stories on getting products from mind to market. We will have new inventors and industry experts. So join us and have a wonderful week.